Welcome everyone to North Vector Bassin. I am your host Tony, aka Tiger Pops, your home for actionable intel, information you can actually use. So, what I have for you today is the beginning segment in a series on this. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a one-man inflatable fishing pontoon from Classic Accessories called the Roanoke. Now, it's the little brother to the Colorado XT model that you'll see most of the YouTube videos on.
The Roanoke is an entry-level one-man fishing pontoon from Classic Accessories. It is 8 feet long, twin pontoons. It has 2 zippered cargo bins on each pontoon within easy reach from the seat. Now, the stock seat is a fixed mount and does not swivel. The Roanoke comes with a set of oars, a front mesh stripping mat, and a rear mesh cargo mat that fastens via Velcro to the rear frames. Since it is the entry-level model, its cost is much lower than the big brother Colorado XT model. Very basic indeed. But we're going to change all of that and make it a better version of itself and still keep the cost way below that of the XT model.
Now, putting your bass boat on the water is a beautiful thing. Unfortunately, here in the good old state of Indiana, we don't have a crap ton of lakes to choose from. We do have our reservoirs, and unfortunately, they are expensive to launch your boat on. Now, that's a costly option if that's your only way to go. On the other hand, what we do have a lot of are rivers, streams, and creeks running through our state. And that, my fishing friends, means free, no launch fees. Not to mention the plethora of species along those miles. We're talking about everything from largemouth, smallmouth, big red ear, bluegill, white bass, God, you name it. Unfortunately, you just can't put a big bass boat on most of them, which is why I went looking for a bass boat alternative. All of them come with a set of oars, and that's cool if you just want to use those, but I'm like a lot of you out there and I can't leave well enough alone. Plus, I'd like a better propulsion option than using my arms all day, right? Now, that Colorado XT I mentioned earlier comes with a lot of options the Roanoke doesn't. Plus, it comes with a hefty price tag. Alright, segue to that Colorado XT for a minute. It comes with a rear cargo rack that has an adjustable trolling motor mount already on it. Now that's the perfect setup, right? Not so fast, my friends. Let's think about that for a minute. Let's mount that 30+ pound trolling motor back there. Got it. Now throw that 40+ pound battery for it back there. You know where I'm going with this. Yeah, that looks jacked and probably operates the same way too. Not to mention the whole safety side of it, like dragging your gear through the water or, heaven forbid, sinking it. Man, there's got to be a better way. And there is. Flow with me for a moment. Let's say we move that trolling motor to the front. Leave the battery and your gear in the back. Now everything's magically balanced. But in order to do that, we're going to have to put our big boy mounting pants on and get after it. Let's do it. Pics you can see my YouTube researching shows a couple of guys had already thought of this and come up with a couple of design ideas for a front trolling motor mount. Some of these guys use wood. Some use pieces of plastic like an old cutting board. And others use PVC piping. While I liked a little of this design and a little of that design, I did one of my own. Now this whole mount is made of 1¼ PVC pipe, including the T's and the elbows. But in this picture, you can see simply attaching the mount part to the foot frame offers no support. So another guy came up with connecting sections of PVC that go out and then turn up with an elbow just outside of the frame rail and the bladder. Quality upgrade right there. Not so fast, my faithful followers. Now you've got this PVC pipe rubbing on the frame rail and the bladder skin. That's eventually going to rub right through the skin and create a leak or an outright failure. Plus, if you were paying attention, like I know you were, you would have noticed that that design only provides tension when the motor is operating in the forward direction. If you put it in reverse, those pipes are going to swing under the water and you might just get a face full of motor. Not cool. Not cool. So here's what I did differently. I used the extension idea, but I ran mine straight back to the seat rail and attached them there with a couple of T's and elbows. Now the mount is safe and secure in either direction. And here's a little extra. I did some YouTube research and found a couple of guys have come up with some designs for some stand-up platforms for these pontoons. I know, right? And my mount option would allow for one of those to be connected with no problem. So, I'll leave some links to those videos and a link to my parts list for the mount itself down below, in case anyone wants to add either to your own pontoon. Now, if you're thinking about an inflatable pontoon, then I highly recommend the Roanoke for obvious reasons. Okay, that's going to do it for this video. But coming up are going to be a few more in the series on this pontoon with other mods and upgrades, like a pulse width modulator for the trolling motor, a rebuild of the actual trolling motor to fit this new mount application, and hey, I'm going to add that Colorado XT rear rack to this thing. I'm going to add a swivel seat and whatever else I can think of. So I look forward to seeing you on the next one. And listen, I greatly appreciate your support, so please feel free to leave your comments and suggestions below, good or bad, whatever it takes to help me bring the content you want or would just like to see. And at the very least, some actionable intel that you can use. So until the next one, you know what to do. Put a hook in it.